Hello, and thank you so much for joining my 30-day photography fundamentals accelerator and welcome. You probably know this already, but my name is Pat Kay. I am a professional travel photographer, and over the next 30 days, we are going to be learning a lot together, and I'm super excited to go on this journey with you. I designed this course around the idea that when you learn any new skill, whether that is photography, videography, illustration, any creative skill or any non creative skill for that matter, there's always a gigantic world of unknown that you just haven't discovered yet. And understanding just how big this world is and knowing the most efficient path to learning all of the skills along the way is a great approach to learning any skill set very quickly. And this is where the idea of mentors come in. Mentors have experience and understanding that they can pass on to you very quickly and very efficiently. And when I first started photography, I wish I had a mentor to show me the ropes, right? To show me how to do certain things, to show me and explain how things work. And that's the entire way that I approach designing this entire course. This course is me mentoring you. I'm going to teach you everything you need to know at the very beginning of your photography journey. But make no mistake, the next 30 days are going to be tough, real tough. There's going to be a ton of information and a lot of new concepts for you to grasp. So you're only going to get out as much as you put in. So, if you want real results, then follow along and engage in all of the activities I have planned for you. And I assure you that by the end of the course and by the end of our time here, you'll finish up with not only a fantastic foundation of photography in general, but honestly, a far more expansive baseline of knowledge to start from that is miles ahead of what most other creatives and most beginner photographers find themselves starting with, especially in their first couple of years in photography. In this course, we're going to be covering everything that's to do with the fundamentals, specifically of photography. Mainly, we're going to be covering a lot of technical skills with the camera. We're going to be understanding lighting. We're going to be going through composition. We're going to understand what style is. We're going to be doing a little bit of editing as well. And we're going to be talking about gear and what investments to make and, which bits of gear are the most efficient in this very expensive hobby and so much more. This course was designed to be consumed in just 30 days, no slower and no faster. It's designed that you have a theory lesson every single day, but you also have an accompanying assignment to do every day with it. Yes, that means that we're going to be putting our knowledge to the test. Now, not every single day involves going outside and shooting, and not every single assignment is going to be some gigantuan thing that you have to invest a lot of time in. But still, we want to be living and breathing photography every single day in some way, shape, or form. And trust me, the effort will be worth it. So each class, each day will vary in length. Sometimes it will be a quick 15 minutes, but other times it could be up to an hour, right? It was designed for you to digest one day at a time because I find that when students consume too much information too quickly, they don't get a chance to utilize that information and they forget it. They don't get a chance to process it either. And, I believe very heavily in consistency over spiky intensity because consistent effort over time is what builds habits and sets you on the right course. But you're an adult, so you do what you want to do. That's just my recommendation on how I approached designing and building this course. So you may be wondering, who am I to talk about photography? Why should you believe the things that I say? What credentials do I have? And what makes me a person worthy of your belief over the next 30 days? Let me tell you a little bit about my background, and hopefully that gives you a little bit more of an insight into where I'm coming from and why I believe that I'm one of the best photography teachers out there right now, and why you are in very, very good hands. So I've been a creative for the majority of my life. Ever since primary school, I've always been interested in art. In high school, I was very heavily into graphic design, and from there, I actually skipped uni completely and went on to teach myself many, many disciplines of design all on my own. I started with graphic design first and foremost, but throughout the next decade of my life, I would go on to work in fields like web design, user interface, user experience design, and then finally product design. When I was working in product design, I was fortunate enough to work for or consult or do freelancing for companies like, Atlassian, Google, Facebook, Airbnb, Campaign Monitor, and so many others. And after 10 years in the design space, I had to make a decision. If I was to stay in product design, I would eventually have to move to Silicon Valley in order to meet the lofty aspirations and goals I had as a lead product designer, as Sydney was kind of too small of a city, unfortunately. But, at the same time, in the last few years of that career, I actually picked up photography as a side thing, and I was doing well at it, and I was making money. The prospect of becoming a full-time photographer was actually something that looked like it was on the realm of possibility for me. And, there was an idea that I was able to turn my hobby into a full-time passion. So I was left with a choice, continue with product design for the next decade of my life or try something new with photography. And of course, because you're watching this, we all know which decision I ended up with. I've won awards for my photography. I've been a judge for multiple photography competitions multiple times. I've traveled the world with my photography. I've worked with every single major Fortune 500 brand that I've ever wanted to work with. Sony, Microsoft, LG, Nike, Adidas, Samsung, Razer, Adobe, Ford, Toyota, Lexus, DJI, top tier advertising agencies, government tourism boards, like the list goes on. Changing my career to being a travel photographer has really opened up so many doors for me, and it's honestly the best decision that I've ever made in my life. For me, I had the confidence in myself, and I knew I was able to get good at photography very quickly because I, unlike others, had an unfair advantage from the start. I've been developing my eye for aesthetics for decades, ever since I was a kid. So when I first picked up photography with, everything that I already knew, my past experiences, my past career, everything I knew about visual language, all that I really had to learn was the technical aspects of it because I already had the vision. And this really helped accelerate my growth when it came to the skill and the craft of photography. And it really helped me stand out in a very crowded market because I brought with me a vision that was different to others. And it's this foundation that I want to share with you in this course in the hopes that I can really accelerate your growth in the skill and the craft of photography too. So that's where I come from, and that's why I'm so excited to share my expertise with you. Alrighty, now before we jump into the rest of the course, you might be wondering if there are any requirements to this course, especially when it comes to things like gear and such, like a camera, for example. But you know what they say, right? The best camera is one that you have on you. And so as an absolute baseline, your phone, totally fine, right? If I'm honest with you, for most people, even pro photographers like myself, the majority of images we actually end up taking, for better or for worse, actually do end up being on our phones, right? If it's not professionally, then it's casually. So, don't write it off as something that is lesser quality than other pieces of gear. They're all just tools. And, they're tools for the right place at the right time. And an image taken with the wrong device is better than the regret of the image not taken at all. That being said, we're going to be covering a lot of technical things in this course. So if you're the type of person who just likes to use the stock camera app, then please go ahead and download something with a little bit more manual controls. Apps like Adobe Lightroom Camera or Halide or Procam all have really great manual controls and can give you a much more tactical and expansive feel for the skills we'll be able to be learning in this course. And if you want to go one step further than that, as I'm sure the majority of you do, then consider a dedicated camera. whether that is a point and shoot camera, like a little compact one, or a DSLR, or a mirrorless, or otherwise. If it has dials and you can change the settings of it, then we're sweet. In this course, we're going to be talking about things like lenses and auxiliary gear to own as well. So if you really want some brownie points, then a camera that has an interchangeable lens will have you covered. Okay, that's it. It's an honor to be your teacher for the next 30 days, and I'm really, really looking forward to it. Let's dive into the very first day and the very first lesson.